maybe Microsoft's genius, or maybe Sony are the real geniuses. I don't know. It's kind of crazy, but we are seeing Xbox Series X take a lot of these face-offs now, and maybe Sony knew that. Maybe Sony was aware that this was something that would happen at a particular later date, and that's why they're planning a console that's more powerful down the line. That could be the reason. I don't really know. So when I look at this and I see all the stuff that has been said about Xbox Series X, clearly right away Microsoft had to wait a little bit longer to get the RDNA stuff that they were waiting on. They have a more powerful console than Sony. So why does the PlayStation 5 tend to win some of the face-offs? Well, I think early on people were really, even though it's a joke now, we're really kind of waiting on a situation for the tools to develop and things like that. But what happened a little bit after that, because we did see PlayStation was winning a lot of these early on, and then it was kind of even, and Sony started winning a little bit. There'd be a few frames per second differences. So what happened? I mean, listen, it doesn't really take a genius to understand what happened. Xbox has a couple different SKUs to get ready for. PlayStation has, PlayStation 5. There's infinitely more PlayStation 5 sold in the world than there are Xboxes. Developers are going to try to make the version that has, the most consoles out there, the potential sales and things like that. So that is sort of where I sort of see that kind of stuff kind of come into play. So now we've seen that, lately games are looking better and becoming better on the Xbox version. And I think that's, a really good thing. Obviously, in my opinion, the fact that stuff like Alan Wake looks better on Xbox, runs better on Xbox, I think that's great. But we can also look at RoboCop Rogue City, which, by the way, I'm playing this game. If you are an 80s person or you like RoboCop, you have to play this game. It is violent, it is gory, and it looks great. Like, listen, here's the funny story about these developers, right? The developers behind this game made this horrendous Rambo game on the Xbox 360 and PS3 back in the day. Horrendous. Absolutely terrible game. They also made a Terminator Salvation game more recently that was on Xbox and PlayStation, and I think they just did an update on that game on Xbox. Pretty good game. I mean, it got average scores, but pretty good. And now they've come out with this RoboCop game, which I think is a very faithful retelling. I'm about halfway through it. Looks absolutely fantastic. But the analysis shows huge performance gains on the Series X. And I gotta say, for a smaller developer or whatever, they've got this game running 60 frames, Unreal Engine 5. It looks really, really good. I'm blown away by it because it's not like a full AAA thing. It's like people really nitpick this stuff. I think this game is $60. There is a $70 version, but again, RoboCop Rogue City launched, and it's an actual current gen only game, partly down to it being built on Epic's latest Unreal Engine 5 technology. Now, despite being somewhat rudimentary in nature, Unreal Engine 5's Rogue City seems to be pushing the consoles quite a bit, and Series X is handling it quite well. I'm going to link this so you can check it out. They posted a look at the game on the Series X, Series S, and PS5, while Series S just has 130 FPS mode, a mode where all three consoles perform well. Series X and PS5 also contain a mode with a 60 frames mode, and Xbox has a big advantage there. Microsoft's top-of-the-line console sees a stick quite closely to 60 frames, which is nice to see in Unreal Engine 5. PS5 dips a fair bit lower in most of the scenes shown off, although there's every chance that developer Teon will address this and bring the two versions closer together. Anyway, it's very impressed to see Xbox Series X step up nicely, and it's nice to see a solid, consistent frame rate on the Series S too. Like I said, I'm going to link this. You guys can check it out. It's just one of those things where we kind of see this kind of thing happen a little bit more often now, and it shouldn't surprise me, and it shouldn't surprise anybody else, but it is still, in my opinion, a pretty interesting surprise, because lately, up until I think the end of, this year, within the last 6-8 months, most games were, having some kind of performance gain and boost on the, on the PlayStation, which is unfortunate and I think kind of wrong, to be quite frank about it. I never thought that that should have been the case. I thought that Xbox Series X, that developers should have just, if you really believe in what you're doing and you really are trying to do something that, you're proud of, right? Whenever you do something, I think that you should be able to be proud of it and be able to, some kind of work that you're doing. And when you're showing it off or whatever, I think you should do the best of your ability, not cut corners and things like that. And I think that, seeing some of the corners being cut is exactly what we kind of have witnessed with some of these Xbox games. Now I'm not saying that, it's terrible or anything like that it keeps happening. But I do think that it is nice to see that Microsoft is getting a lot of the wins, a lot of the kudos these. I think we're onto something. We're starting to cook with fire, cook with grease, as they say, with this stuff. And I think that we're starting to see Microsoft really kind of come into their own, and the Xbox kind of coming into its own year 3, which I think is fantastic because, you know what, at the end of the day, we're going into next year where Microsoft is going to have yet another clear advantage in the game department. So, hopefully we continue to see, all of these things continue to happen the way that it needs to. And we need to see Microsoft continue to crank out like the really good games and things like that. I think, obviously that's going to help out tremendously with what they're trying to accomplish. And it's also going to continue to, showcase that, the Xbox is a viable platform that can perform extremely well, especially for the money. I mean, listen, it's a great console. It is a fantastic console. Love seeing it. I love seeing everybody kind of talk it up now finally, and it's just nice seeing Xbox get some love for a change, and that's just the way it goes. So anyway, I'm very curious to hear what everybody else thinks about this. Are you guys surprised? Are you not surprised? Are you excited by this news? Are you not? I would love to hear your thoughts and opinions on it. Please let me know. Again, we're really starting to see the Xbox come into its own, and this is just another instance of a pretty nice sized game, a pretty big game, really getting showcased very well on the Series X console. So love seeing that. And like I said, this game, if you haven't played it, go give it a try. See what you might think. It could be right up your alley, especially if you're a fan. It shoots well, it plays well. It's a game that I think a lot of people can enjoy, and it's just something I think different enough to where it'll give you that nice little kind of jolt. Trust me, you guys, if you're sick of playing the same old thing over and over again, this might be the game to actually go out there and try. So, thanks for watching. I'm Crap Gamer. This is Crap Gamer Reviews. Rack 'em up. Crap Gamer out.